What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants. No hate. I just saw, actually last night, I saw two different interviews with Bill Haney and Devin Haney. Two separate videos, of course, two separate interviews. And, one of the things that, I noticed the comments that people make. It's weird how robotic people are. When something happens, I've yet to see a person that just handles everything perfectly, even if the results go your way. There's something that you've done in life, even if you feel justified, the law will tell you something different. So you try to put yourself in a position to not be in a certain frame of mind, but you also may be in a position where you have to do what you have to do, right? Here we have a situation of a guy that cheated, a guy that clearly just, disrespected the sport, disrespected the fans, disrespected himself, didn't make weight, didn't honor his contract, and people made excuses for the drug cheat. They want to assume things about Devin because he takes snack products, but then the guy that was actually the drug cheat, let's make excuses for him. And we know it was race-driven, it was hate-driven, it was all that punk-ass nonsense. We know it. But at the same time, I listened to Devin talk, and it's like I said from day one. I said, along with the cheating, Devin fought the wrong fight. He didn't fight smartly. We already talked about that and why I believe he probably did it or whatever, but, only he knows what was going through his head. I don't. But, bottom line is, like he said, he take accountability of the fact that he himself didn't fight the way he was supposed to. And, the thing is to, watch back and he saw what he did wrong and look at the things that, he should have did better. And bottom line is fine tuning. He says he's fine. Everybody want to see what Devin is going to show up. And so that's what he's here to do. Devin has never been one for the shit talking. He'll respond to something people say, but really he doesn't try to get into it. The interviewers are always trying to pry and dig into things. Even like with the lawsuit situation, where Bill Haney had admitted and said that it was his idea, and I still don't knock Devin for what, people want to talk all this gangster shit, but y'all punk asses ain't never did shit to nobody. You ain't never shot nobody. You ain't never been shot at. You ain't never had no gang wars. You ain't never had no street beefs. All y'all do is sit up behind a keyboard and talk about what you would have done. You wouldn't have did shit. You'd have ran the police. That's what you'd have did. You wouldn't even been, it wouldn't have happened to you because you wouldn't have been in the ring, period. But all that being said, what Bill explained was, basically, for what he did, he deserved to be sued. And then the thing was, they said they wasn't going to fight. Now, initially, I remember Devin was saying, I don't think I even want to fight dude again because of the way he disgraced himself and cheating. And yet, these racist, fucking race fans, these idiotic, stupid people gave him a pass for it. But he's like he was saying in the beginning, then he said, he may change his mind one day. Then he felt different. And he was saying, nah, he wanted the rematch. He wanted the rematch. Well, Oscar and racist Ryan went on record saying it. There was no rematch. Nobody cares about the rematch. They don't want to see it, blah, 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 this, that. And, even Tank Davis changed his story. Because remember, he's the same one that just a couple of months ago said, why would I fight Devin? Look at what I did to Ryan, and look at what Ryan did to him. Did he not say that? Now, all of a sudden, Tank, he changed his story up saying, yeah, he definitely want to fight Devin Haney. I mean, yeah, I guess he want people to forget about Lamont Roach and what happened, because we know how that fight turned out. And, just talking. He's the one talking about he's retiring. Now he's changing his story. Well, Devin Haney says that, they wanted to fight. And, Ryan, and I remember them both saying that there was no need for a fight. It wasn't going to happen and all of that. So basically, they put the lawsuit on him. And then what came out of that was, well, if you guys drop the lawsuit, then we'll have a second fight. So they dropped the lawsuit. So, it's funny how when people run their mouth, then all of a sudden the smoke gets cleared. And now when you understand what was going on, let's shh about it. Because this dude didn't even want to fight. See, my whole thing is this. Real fighters don't need to cheat. Talented fighters don't need to cheat, even though some of them cross that line, because they're so afraid of losing. They're so afraid of not being perfect or not being undefeated or whatever that, they will go that extra mile and do things that they shouldn't do. But, I see people in the comment section talk about, oh, man, I really got new respect for Dev. Yo, man, Dev seems like a cool guy. Yeah. You motherfuckers are like some little sensitive bitch-ass females, man, because y'all, one minute, y'all getting y'all feelings about people. This is why I'm like, I can't rock with a lot of y'all, man, because the stuff that y'all type in sometime, I just look and read like, did your dumb ass just actually really say that shit? But what I looked at, man, I said, I look at Chris Eubanks Jr. and his father, and I'm like, it'd be fucked up to see Devin and his dad end up like that one day. At one point, you saw them together. Chris Eubanks Jr. told a story about how he found out who his father was at a friend's house, and the dude had the fight between his, the two fathers. And then he looked and saw the last name. He's like, what is this? He put it in, and that's his father. But bottom line is, one of the things I looked at, man, it's never good when you see that type of stuff, man. Chris Eubanks Jr., Sr. should have better sense than what he's doing right now. I just saw an interview, 2 videos of him, and he's bashing his son and talking shit. And his son won't listen. He's talking about his son is doomed. He's going to lose and all of this. Like, what that really is? That's not even concern for his son. That's day from Friday. Remember the second one? Remember when Craig was going across the street to holler at that fine ass Puerto Rican chick, and he's like, you ain't gonna get it. You ain't gonna get it. I hope you don't get it. That's what Chris Eubanks Sr. is doing right now. Because no matter what, man, I love my sons more than anything in this world. And if something was to ever fucking go down, it's like, that's between me and my sons, man. And the fact that his son is training for this fight, and they don't speak, they don't talk, only thing his presence would do is disrupt things, man. It's too much that's been said for them to just bottle that up and all of a sudden let's have a good training. I want you, and the fact of the matter is, man, it's like, for him to be the bigger man, the elder, and show it, it would be easy to say, listen, you know what? Regardless of what my son talk about with you guys, I'm not going to talk about my son. And that's not, I'm not here to talk about that. That's family stuff, and there's nothing you can do about it. And me explaining to anybody listening is not going to change anything. And that's not something that I can discuss. So, if he discusses it with you, then he can say what he wants to say to you guys. But there's nothing for me to say. It's like he want his son to lose. And even if he was to say, he'd probably deny it, that he don't want him to lose. I want him to win. But why would you say these type of things about your son? This isn't, people can give their opinions and say he's trying to fuel his son up. He's trying to, get him to, man, I don't think he needs him to do that for him to, I think just his dislike for Conor alone, and the relationship, like just the way things are already between the two of them. He doesn't need his father to bash him and talk down on him, saying he's going to lose, he's doomed, and all of this type of stuff. That shit is just like really sad to see, because no matter what goes on in your family, man, it's like, especially when you detail things and it's like, let's just verbally attack. These interviewers don't care nothing about you. They don't care about your newborn. They don't care about your wife. They don't care about your family structure. All they care about is bringing the best stories, the top stories on their platforms, and trying to monetize, your stories and make money off you. That's all they care about. They don't care about your family situation. I wouldn't even ask questions like that. I wouldn't even bring those type of things up simply because it's not necessary. And I really don't personally care to know. But it's like when you see this type of stuff, it's just like, wow. And I look at the way Bill stands for his son, and I like the way, look, man, people do things we don't always agree with. They say things that we don't always agree with. But Bill stands for his son, and he stands with his son. He's not gonna sit here and talk down on his son, man. And this is something that I just don't understand about this era of people, man. How it's like they just don't, like, how is someone's hearts, I mean, how is someone's mind so full of evil, man? How do you get to that point that you even think it's okay? Like, I would slap the shit out you if you came to me asking me something personal about my family. Like, even if I got an issue with that family member, fuck you. It's not your business. You know? And they feed into that nonsense. So, you know, I just looked at that, and I just, even while I was watching it, I just started picturing, like, what I seen with the Eubanks video. And I'm like, man, that's, you know, when you get to that point, man, like I said, it's time to just do something else. I mean, we've seen it happen with Floyd and his father, where Floyd actually trained De La Hoya to beat his son. And it didn't work, but, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things I could never do, man. And this is why, when I look at the things that people do, and I look at the things that people applaud, it says a lot about people, man. But anyways, tell me what y'all think about Devin. And he seems to be fine. He seems to be in a good mental space. You know, his dad seems to be in a good mental space. You know, Chris Eubanks Jr. and Conor both look like they're training hard for their fight. Tell me what y'all think about Conor and Eubanks, and what you think about, you know, the state of mind that Devin Haney's in. What type of, you know, we don't know what version we'll see, you know, but just his confidence, his poise, and how relaxed he was, I feel like that's a good sign. But anyway, talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.